Hello, good morning, happy Monday for those of you who are joining me in real time. Happy every day for those who are watching or listening to this after the fact. We're at day 17 of our 19 days of June of mindfulness practices for busy humans. And I will tell you something as a fellow busy human with you, just having these scheduled in and knowing that they're just going to be a short amount of time, having this scheduled in has made even a difference to me, right? So this is not just lip service. This is in real time, in practice. No matter when you're doing this, in real time, in practice. So don't dismiss it. Don't dismiss even the the 30 seconds that you can do, or just the moment, just the short moment that you can do, don't dismiss it because it does make such a difference. So we're here. Today's mindfulness practice is going to be around, we're going to do just a simple practice itself, but the mindfulness is in watching your thoughts. Note I said watching, not criticizing, not judging, but just watching what your thoughts are, particularly the immediacy of the thoughts when you are trying to do something that is helpful for you, that is useful for you. A separate example is I journal as well, and when I was getting back into the habit, because everything's cyclical, right? So when I was getting back into the habit the most recent time, which was about a year ago, and I watched my brain every time I'd sit down, knowing that the journaling I was doing was literally going to take like 10 minutes. I watched how my brain, my mind would just step in and think of all of these things that I could be doing in that moment that I just have to do just real quick. So it's like I'd sit down, I'd open up the journal, I'd have the pen in my hand, and all of a sudden my brain's like, "Oh, you should just check that thing on your phone." Just and it's not about the phones really, it's just the distraction, right? You should just check that thing real quick while you think of it. So until I caught it, I was putting my pen down, checking it, and then getting caught up. Or it'd be, "Oh, you should just just transfer that money or pay that bill real quick," or like these things that sure are important, right? But it would only bring it in the immediacy of when I would sit down to do something else. And there could be, I mean, there could be many things happening here, but there's two things that feel like that was for me. One was, "Oh, this is uncomfortable because this is new and you're asking me to do something differently, even though it's good for me," or "Better go to what we know." And the other thing could be that maybe I wasn't giving my mind enough space otherwise, so that it was just taking the opportunity when I did slow down and pause to go, "Hey, there's all these things that I just want you to be aware of, and I just need to cycle through." Right. So our minds are funny things because they're going to do what they think is going to be the best for us to keep us safe and keep us alive. It's just the reality of it. However, sometimes it can be to our detriment. So sometimes when we sit down to breathe or to do a body scan, like a body awareness practice or whatever it is, our your mind might be like, this is bullshit. Or it might be like, what's the point? Some iteration of that, right? Like, what's the point? This isn't going to help. This isn't solving all my problems right in this moment. Why are we doing this? Why are we bothering? You should be doing more. You should be doing something more proactive, right? So there's all these immediate thoughts of this isn't enough, or just it doesn't even have to be in that tone. It could be anything, right? But that is the mindfulness practice for today. I just want you to notice. Not judge it, but just notice where it comes up and how it comes up so you can just be aware that, okay, cool. Yes, mind, there is something that is important enough that you feel like you need me to know about. Awesome. Thank you. Not, ah, why am I not doing this right? Because that's the other mindfulness I want you to be aware of. The thoughts that say you're not doing it right. Because I said way back at the beginning of this 19 days, I said on day one, that is the biggest question and complaint I get from people is my mind was too busy. That sucked. I suck. And it's just categorically not true that it sucked and you suck. But it's also just an opportunity to acknowledge and go and recognize and go, okay, cool. That's where my mind's at. So be mindful of how you criticize yourself in it as well, not just how you might criticize the practice, but be mindful of how you criticize yourself as well. So, for the sake of a practice, we're going to just do a few diaphragmatic, slow, equal breaths just to start our week with, just to be on this third last day of this series here that is building the foundation for where you personally go to from here. So, whatever you're doing, obviously safety first, but otherwise, whatever you're doing, maybe give your shoulders just a little bit of a wiggle just to let that grip of tension like loosen. And then take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Just start to breathe in down towards your abdomen, in through your nose if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Breathe how you need to. Breathe down towards the bottom of your lungs. A long breath out slowly, slowly. Inhaling, feeling the bottom of your lungs expand as well as maybe in all directions. Lungs are 3D. They go in all directions. Exhale. That slowly soften, not pushing or forcing, but maybe right at the end, just that little bit beyond what's comfortable. Inhale down, deep and wide outwards. Exhale, let it all soften. Give it like waves at the beach, just gentle rolling in as you breathe in, as they roll in. Maybe there's this momentary pause of suspension. Exhale, they roll out. One more, just like that. Exhaling out. Beautiful. So notice whatever thoughts you had. Try not to criticize them, try not to judge them, try not to be hard on them in return. Just try to notice that they're there. That's literally the mindfulness practice. Sometimes we get caught up in the I must do something about it. There will be times and places and moments for that, sure. But the practice itself is just acknowledging, going, okay, I feel like I should be doing better. I feel like my mind is clear. And then ask yourself, is it true? This is something that we would go deeper on in private coaching because it's really that opportunity to go deeper into these. There are different models that we use to do that. So if you find that this is something that you want to explore or you are interested in the Embodied Leaders Academy for your team or workplace, please use the link below to book a call we can discuss and have a conversation, see if it fits. But otherwise, I will see you tomorrow for day 18.